actually wanted to come on here and talk about something. It's not really so much as an update video as much as I have time right now, so I figured I should vlog something video. I'm actually at one of my I'm gonna take these off because the glare is crazy. Okay, it's windy. I'm outside. I'm in my car. I'm outside of one of my community colleges. So a little history about me. I have been to a total of 3 community colleges, and I finished my community college journey by going back to the first one I started at. So it's kind of funny, and maybe we'll go into details later. I don't know. But right now I'm at my 3rd community college. Right now I'm already transferred. I'm at a UC near my home. But I am here because of my internship. I did attain this internship when I was still a student at this community college, and I have not been here in quite some time. Even in the past few visits here have only been to like tie up some loose ends or take care of some internship stuff, like nothing crazy, definitely not for classes. I don't really know how much I want to disclose on this platform, not for the sake of privacy, but just for the sake of talking too damn much. So I'm here to practice disassembling and putting back together a major sampler, which is going to be submerged, and it's going to collect fluid from hydrothermal vents. And we have to know how to collect this water, clean them, put them back together so they can get used again to continue to collect water. So that's what I'm here to do. And the reason I'm here is because I guess you could call her my partner in all of this, and this is like closer to her. The whole point of this video wasn't to really talk about what I'm doing here or to talk about driving here as much as it was to talk about reflection on my journey that led me to be here doing what I'm gonna do today, and the reminder of everything that I had to go through while I was coming to this specific community college. It was something that made me sort of mourn for that person that I was during that time. Not because I felt sorry for myself at that time, but because of what I was putting myself through. I was waking up at around 4:30 to 4:50 in the morning, getting everything ready so that I would have some food during the day while I was at school, putting on a little bit of makeup, getting all my stuff. Hopefully I didn't forget anything because I wasn't going to be nowhere near school if I did. And then driving about an hour 15 to an hour 30 to get to school, to make it to a 7:30 a.m. chemistry lab. And then basically not leaving campus on some days at 10 p.m. and on some days earlier, like 7 p.m. But also because of the traffic, I would never try to leave earlier than 7 p.m. So I would just stay here, try to study, try to do something school related, because I was so inundated with assignments and with classes, and I might have been taking too many classes for myself, and it really took a toll on me with all of the pressure that those classes put on me in terms of what they meant for me. They were all like weren't elective classes, you know, they were all classes that were going to get me a step closer to transferring. And also at the same time, as I went through those classes, they were slowly telling me, you're either going to make it or you're not going to make it as a STEM major. And I struggled through every single one. Like, there was not a single chemistry class or a single physics class or, you know, bio class or math class that I ever thought was easy. They all had some level of difficulty. They all had something that I struggled with that frustrated me. And I was not one of those students, and I'm still not one of those students that can hear something once and completely understand it and be able to memorize it and regurgitate it on a moment's notice. So it became rather hard. I'm in a parking lot right now, so if you hear cars, that's why. Yeah, it became rather difficult to stay on top of things, let alone be a straight A student. Not that I've ever been a straight A student. And on top of that, I was also having a small part-time job on campus as a note taker. I would take random, it's kind of random, like they set you a schedule once you get hired for the position, and then you get to pick what time slots work for you. And what you do is you work with a student that has some type of disability that may require them to need someone to take notes for them, and you show up with them to their class and you help take notes for them. And I did that also part-time while I was doing that hectic schedule, and I carried that same schedule for about a year, and it burned me out like crazy. I was also in a program that, thank God, I stuck through with, because it's because of me being in that program and showing up the way that I did in that program that led me to have the internship that I have now. So at least a lot of good came from me just sticking things out that way, but it took so much out of me. It really makes me think now, like, man, if only I would have like stopped doing that part-time job and maybe like dropped one of my classes, then I would have had a less stressful time in college during, well, that specific time, because it's always been stressful, you know. It's always, you always put all this pressure. I need to cut this video because I'm getting super emotional, and I'm actually gonna be meeting my my partner in the internship in a little bit, so I need to like be good. So I'm just gonna cut this off right now, but maybe I'll continue it later. I just felt like it was a good time to kind of talk about this because I was kind of holding it in the whole time I was driving here, and I just felt like I wanted to share it. So I kind of left that last clip on a cliffhanger, sort of, because I started getting super emotional and I didn't want to start blubbering right before I was gonna meet with someone. I just wanted to be composed, so I cut the clip. But right now, as I'm editing and I rewatched it, I guess the point that I was trying to get across is that on the drive to my community college, one of the community colleges that I went to, I got super nostalgic because I remembered on that drive how many times I was trying to cram information into my brain and trying to plan out my days so I could structure my study sessions. It was just so hectic, and I feel now, looking back, how unnecessary it was for me to do so much at once. And that's really hard to address when you're in it and also when you're out of it, because it's because of those like struggles that you learn so much about yourself. But there should be some type of a way to measure like how much is just enough to push yourself and grow, but not too much to where you're taking away from your health, you're taking away from your relationships, you're taking away from just your overall happiness. And the reason that's important is because you want to challenge yourself in a way that you are being, you know, pushed a little bit, but not too much to where you're going to push yourself to quit. And I had quit so many times before that. That's the only reason that I stuck through it. If I had been fresh into college and I had tried to do that much, then I would have just quit. And that's what happened in my previous college attempts / journey, you know. That's the reason that I went to so many different community colleges, because I kept changing my mind, or I kept, you know, picking other things over my education, and time just kept on passing me by and I didn't get anywhere with my education. And then when I finally decided what it was that I was trying to do, or at least somewhat of what I was trying to do, or what field I was trying to learn more about, that I took it so seriously to the point that it became a big problem and it started taking away from my quality of life. And, you know, just a lot of things happened during that time. Like, we can go into my relationship at that time and the transition period between my other relationship, the one that I'm in now, and it gets really complicated because life happens and you have to learn how to juggle this properly, or you have to learn how to get over these obstacles in a timely manner where it isn't going to completely derail you from your dreams. You know, you can always accomplish what you set yourself out to accomplish. The problem isn't that you can no longer accomplish it. The problem is that you become so disheartened because it is taking you so much, whether it be time or struggle or resources, that you decide to call it quits. And I look back and I'm thinking, if I had just like reeled it in a little bit, I would have done better in my classes. I probably would have not had so many F's on my transcripts. You know, a lot of people don't understand my struggle because I never wanted to share it. I just wanted to share all the good parts, because why would you want to share the bad parts, right? Like, you got over it, it's in the past, why go over it? But the problem is now that people think that there was no struggle. And it's not about convincing people that you struggled. It's about letting them know, hey, it wasn't easy, but I did it. So if it's not easy for you, that's okay. And that's the point that I was trying to get across, was that you have to learn to assess yourself every step of the way. You have to know when you're doing too much, when you're pushing yourself just enough, and when you're being too much of a baby with yourself, because that's how you're going to be able to navigate life in the fullest way, in my opinion. I think that you have to go through some type of adversity to evolve from your like base level. And if you go through too much, it will literally make you or break you. And there is a happy medium where you can go through just enough that you can keep evolving without having to become so embittered by life. And yeah, that's a formula that we have yet to discover. But I just wanted to touch base on that, because on the drive there, I just got nostalgic thinking about all the times that I had to drive there half asleep, trying to be, you know, hopped up on so much caffeine that it was ridiculous. And then at the same time, still having it have no effect because I was so tired. And it just made me sad for that person, because it was like, wow, you went through so much that you didn't have to go through, because you didn't know any better, because you didn't want to share how much you were struggling then with anybody that maybe would have told you that you needed to chill. But yeah, that's what that rant was about. I just wanted to share it because I think that part of having a YouTube channel is to let others see who you are. And for these past few years, my identity, my main identity, has been that of a student. Now I'm just gonna insert a clip of me and Laura doing our thing back at my old community college. And it's gonna be fast forwarded so you don't have to sit through there because it can get pretty long. So I put it on there so you guys could just get a little taste of what I'm gonna be doing pretty soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed my little life excerpt. Bye.